So many of us have come back to food. You know, no matter what sort of route we took, so many of us, you know, ended up coming back to, you know, working on food from various angles. The project I'm currently working on is called the Community Market Conversion Program. It's a pilot to transform 4 convenience stores in South Los Angeles to sell healthy foods. Convenience stores that currently sell high-calorie, low-nutrient foods. And you know, our goal is a pilot program to transform 4 stores that will hopefully continue to transform, you know, many more corner stores that are, you know, abundant in the South LA area and throughout the city, into healthy, you know, small local access points for healthy food.
So City Growers is Boston's newest urban farm. That's what we like to call it. There's a couple of other not-for-profit farms. You've probably heard of the Food Project, Revision House in Boston. And so the communities we're working in are Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan. We're transforming vacant land in those 3 neighborhoods. 74% of all the vacant lots in the city of Boston, Boston has 21 neighborhoods, are in those 3 neighborhoods. They're also the poorest neighborhoods in the city of Boston. 3 main objectives: creating jobs with livable wages, increasing local access to affordable, nutrient-rich food, and producing locally sourced food to address food security issues in the city.
Somehow or another, I got into this whole interest of looking at how people's health was impacted by their cultural and racial experience. Eventually I got hired to work with Nuestras Raices full-time to be a food systems organizer as well as the youth coordinator. Nuestras Raices started in 1991 by actually this guy, Don Teodoro Ortiz. He was a migrant from Puerto Rico, and he lived in South Holyoke in a tenement house. He and his friends used to play dominoes, and outside of his window you could see this empty lot that was filled with trash and gang members and drug dealers. And so the story goes is that one day he gathered all of his friends up and didn't let them play dominoes that day. He went and got a few machetes and they chased out the drug dealers and they chased out the gang members. They cleaned up the lot and they turned it into a garden. And then he started to teach the kids in the neighborhood how to grow food.
Years ago, all buildings were done in tune with the climate. There were no HVAC systems. You opened the window when it was too hot. You designed a building so there was good cross-ventilation. You had passive systems that made sense for your climate and your building use. And you sited the building in a way that made sense for your building use. That stopped being the case when we got cheap energy and these interesting new technologies that were called heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. So we kind of lost our way there, and we have to get back to that. And we don't have to just build stupid little mud huts. We can build very sophisticated, gorgeous buildings that have some common sense in them. So a lot of what architects need to do now is bring the common sense back to building and just be more responsible, environmentally responsible. But a little tip of the iceberg is cool, new, inventive, exciting entrepreneurial technology, and that's what I do.
You know, what I like to say about the green building movement or field, whatever you want to call it, is it's really about better buildings. And the reason that it has, you know, grown as rapidly as it has is because sick building syndrome, energy crisis, whatever, you know, the lack of commissioning of buildings, you know, all the problems that, you know, builders and developers had in terms of quality control and management, you know, all of those problems were addressed as part of the green building movement. I think buildings are a great case study of a situation where you know, there has been responsible kind of change that has been driven and led by, you know, people kind of deciding that they just wanted to try and figure out a way to do things differently, to do things in a more environmentally responsible way.
I seem to be on a roll here. Here I have this book that has the word green and Walmart together on the cover. And first I started in San Francisco, then I go to Seattle. Now I'm here at Hampshire College. The place is, you know, where I would expect the skepticism to be greatest about that union of words. So,
and it might be.
I'm sorry?
And it might be.
And it should be! I was very skeptical when I met this guy, this river guide named Jib Ellison. I mean, if you're going to be a river guide, a name like Jib. And I was introduced to Jib, and he said, oh, I've been doing this work bringing executives of corporations out into the natural world so they could see the impact of their business on the planet. I said, that's really exciting. Who are you working with? He said, well, I'm working with Walmart. And, you know, that was almost goodbye. I mean, forget, you know, it was not, it didn't seem credible to me, what I knew of Walmart. Part of it is a human story of a very odd couple, a river guide and the CEO of Walmart. You know, this guy who lives off the grid in Northern California and is the least likely person you'd expect to be teamed up with the head of the biggest company in the world. But they did come together, and it took a surprising turn for the river guide's life and also for the life of Walmart and what it has been trying to do in the sustainability field. And to do that in a way that serves their economic interests. And in a way, it's making environmentalism a happy byproduct of a better way of doing business. And that's the only way that you can get these large sectors of the economy to I think, to take meaningful steps without perceiving it as philanthropy or charity or a cost or a burden.
Walmart's they require certain relations of production that no matter how green they are, their mission is to make money, is to their bottom line. And yes, if as long as sustainability coincides with their mission, ride the wave, baby. But there are limits, and their model, by definition, creates other very heinous problems.
Really rich dialogue, because it does seem that there's a cutting edge of intersections here of political things, and that I don't know, that some of the anachronisms of thinking, you know, I've got in me voices of thinking, oh, and then I think, ah, you know, I'm sort of zigzagging between questions, but we need to have these debates alive through the faculty and through the students. So that's just a thought.